Alright guys, so today's video I'm going to talk about things I wish the Kenwood DNX995S came with or does. First off, I'd like to say by no means I am knocking on this deck. This deck is one kick-ass sound quality, feature wise, resolution wise. This deck does what we want. These are just my wish list that I wish it did just that extra little bit that we all, you know, once we have a new toy, we all wish that it just did that extra little bit. So let's begin, and I'll start talking about what I wish. Alright, so of course the first thing is, like I mentioned in my previous video, startup. Like all navigation decks, the startup on any navigation deck or any double DIN that's, you know, got a lot of features, it takes a little bit to start up. I'm okay with it in the end. It is what it is, like I said in the last video. But we always wish that it just started that extra little bit quicker. You know what I mean? Almost like what we wish for in a factory when we get into a factory vehicle. It starts up right away. We want that kind of feature. So Kenwood, make it a little quicker, just a smidge. The next thing that I'd like to talk about is the split screen aspect of it. So on the split screen aspect of things, I love the split screen. I love how you can see navigation on one thing. You can see your rear camera. If I throw it into reverse, it comes on, or the dashboard camera. So that is hot. I love the split screen, and it has a readout of the what's playing for audio wise down here. So like I was saying, the readout for the audio part right there, that's really good. Just a couple small things. What I would have liked to see is the readout here. It just reads out the audio, or it reads out, of course, the radio station that you're on. I would have liked to seen it scrolling, right? So it could scroll maybe the name of the song and the artist that's playing. That would have been a cool little feature to have. It's just static, so it just sits there. So again, Kenwood, if you're listening, maybe in the if you can do a firmware update on all of these things that we're wishing for, or that I'm wishing for, is have a scroll feature on the readout down here. That'd be really awesome. Especially same thing with HD radio, because HD radio now picks up the name of the song and the radio station. Just gives an option to have a nice scrolling readout down here. Talking about the split screen aspect of it, I would have liked to have, of course, you know, when you have home, you have split screen, you have the dashboard, and you have the rear camera. One thing I would have liked to see is, in my case, I have two cameras. I've got a dash cam up there, and I also have a front camera that's mounted to my to the very front of the vehicle. So I would have liked to see that you have options for your inputs right here, what you want it to view. So it would have been rear camera, dashboard, and of course AV input would have been nice to see, because then I would have been able to see this. Switch over. Now that's my front lip. So that would have been nice to see right there, right? So here it would say AV in, and I would be able to have that running as well. That was the only way I could get my other front camera working while maintaining the dash camera, was to hook it into the AV input, because Kenwood only gives you one input for front camera or dash camera. You can't have both. So I kind of went around it and went AV input, which is fine. I just hooked up the video part of it. That's why I was saying here would be nice to show the video input. So again, Kenwood, if you're seeing this, let's get that switch to multiple inputs, video inputs that you can see on screen. That'd be awesome. The steering wheel control function on my vehicle, would be source select. So if I'm source selecting, you see on screen, I'm pressing the button at the same time, and it's flipping through all these inputs. Well, in my case, I don't have Sirius XM. I don't have Spotify. I don't have Pandora. I'd like to have the capability of eliminating all those sources and just have what I want for source select. That'd be awesome if you could select what you wanted to do in the settings somewhere, like maybe under the user interface, you can pick your, your source select input, source select options, I guess, would be one of them. That would be really nice to have as well. What you can do, of course, is have your favorites down here, and they tell you that in the manual. So when you go to your home button, and let's say that's my main home, you can have your 4 favorites right here. Do we need more than 4? No, because if you actually look at most of our smartphones and iPhones, stuff like that, we only have 4 of our favorites down here. I'm okay with that. Do I need a 5th one or a 6th one? I'm just being picky if I really wanted that. But I think that's okay right there. I like that feature that you guys created, but I'd like to have source select here. When I'm actually source selecting, I need to get rid of all that, because one thing is I just want maybe 3 of them going, USB, radio, and Bluetooth audio, and maybe I said USB drive as well. And that, so source select would be nice to have. Well, that should be a simple fix, I think, that they can do, definitely. So hopefully, Kenwood, again, if you're listening, source select options. Dancing equalizer options. Now, I'm talking about the widgets. So the widget is this, what we see right here. So you're allowed to switch between widgets. This would probably read out, for instance, like the weather. This one reads out, FM. Now this one has a compass, and this one does have a spectrum analyzer, like a dancing equalizer. That's cool and all. I would like to see more of that options. I know on some of the other brands out there, they have different equalizer options. For instance, their counterpart, JVC, has multiple options like that. So that would have been nice to have, like, not just that. I think they've got like some spinning ones and, some kind of like motion background. I guess that's what I'm kind of asking is motion background, not just equalizer, but motion background would have been nice. Now I know some companies used to have that, and then they actually got away from that for the fact that that would almost be considered distracted driving. We're not talking major motion, we're just talking light motion. Again, these are things that I just wish that extra little bit Kenwood brought to the table, especially with this high of the end unit, especially at this price point. Motion background would be nice, not just the equalizer. That'd be nice. They do have, of course, the color changing here, so it's a fade in, color scanning or color changing. But I mean, who really likes that? I'd rather have it motion on the screen. That would be pretty cool. So that's, again, Kenwood, if you're listening, change that, please. Elaborating on the wallpaper, motion wallpaper. They do give you the basic, you can upload your pictures, your family of your dog, your dog, the logo of your car, picture of your girlfriend. So you can upload through a SD card, I believe, whatever images you want. But I do believe you can't upload motion. So maybe a GIF. I doubt you can upload a GIF. I think it's a certain format that you have to have it in. But I mean, that'd be really nice again, like I was saying, if you can really have motion. Now, sync color settings, that just matches whatever color you have on here. So in case I have red, so the background's red. That is not motion background. If I set this to color scanning and this changes all the colors, sync color settings is disabled because of course it's not changing. Now that would have been cool, is whatever this was changing, that would change. So not having this highlighted would be nice, that you can actually the background would change color as the buttons did. But I have it on a grayish brushed aluminum look just because my vehicle is kind of that brushed look, so it kind of matches there. Okay, so probably the big one that we would all really wish that this unit have, that one competition has that Kenwood has, that doesn't have, is wireless Apple CarPlay. Now, this head unit right here does do wireless Android. Like I mentioned in the previous video, it does do wireless Android. Currently only on 2 phones, which is from Google, Google Pixel and Nexus. I'm sure once they release the update, they'll be able to, Android Auto Wireless will work with Samsung phones and any other Android cell phone devices. But we all wish that, of course, we had it all. It also did wireless Apple CarPlay as well. I'm not going to mention who, but their competitor just released their new head unit that does both Android Auto Wireless and Apple CarPlay Wireless. So I know that's a big feature to have. That's probably even a licensing issue, but of course that would have been nice to have. So again, Kenwood, I doubt that would happen, but if it does, please make that happen. Hardware wishes. One thing that this Kenwood doesn't have, which I was actually pretty surprised, it's not a big deal. Their competitors, again, have this function. How often is this function used? I don't know. I don't really see too much of a use for it, which is probably why Kenwood decided they didn't want to include it in this. But again, we wish that we would, or it had it. For a flagship unit, throw everything at it. Give every bells and whistles that it could. I understand the price point that they hit. It is not a $2,000 head unit. It is a $1,600 head unit. So by doing that, you have to eliminate some options. I totally understand that. But again, one thing that I wish that this head unit had was HDMI input. So what do we need HDMI input in a car stereo? The only thing I really can think of running HDMI in would be is if we wanted to hook up our laptop that has HDMI out and we wanted to see our laptop on screen. That would have been nice. The HDMI input kind of acts more as a video input, I guess, but a higher resolution. So that's one thing, especially on a high-res screen like this. I bet hooking up your laptop on playing, whatever on your laptop, it would look would look pretty good on here. So that would be nice. The only other thing I can think of, maybe a Blu-ray player. DVD outputs at about 480i. I believe that's what DVD movies are. Yeah, I think it's 480i. Or maybe it's 480 progressive. Either way, this does have a built-in DVD player, but it doesn't even give you full resolution when you're watching it. So where are we going to get that resolution quality? We're going to get it through, of course, the navigation, the brightness of the screen, the contrast, everything. That's where we're going to notice it. But it would be nice that for video playback, we get full resolution. Because you can run YouTube off the Android Auto through Kenwood's WebLink app, so you can run YouTube off there. You can run high quality YouTube videos, but we all know, it gets a little jittery. It's not full. I'm assuming it's not full, 720p that we're going to be getting out of that thing. So it'd be nice to have an HDMI input. So if we wanted to hook up a Blu-ray player to this thing, at least the Blu-ray player would down convert into a 720p instead of course 1080p, which Blu-rays do, and we would have gotten a really nice video image playing of Blu-ray movies. So that would be nice, or like I said, a laptop. Other than that, I really couldn't see anything else an HDMI input would have been used for. So I get it. I understand why, especially because it is a very expensive feature to have. Not many people, have that on a head unit. But if you're gonna go all out on a high flagship head unit, throw it into, yes, I guess maybe it would have been a couple $100 more, so that's why Kenwood didn't do it. But that's okay. I get it. About this thing. I probably said I love this deck so much. I've talked about the resolution. Of course, one thing is the resolution we love. I love the negative tilt feature, which most Kenwood double DIN head units have that. I'm glad they maintain that. That's always awesome to have. Especially on, depending on how you mount your stereo, that is definitely good to have. I actually like the speed of how, maneuvering around the head unit. It's pretty quick. It doesn't lag. Is it just as an Apple iPad or an iPod? Maybe a smidge slower, but it's pretty damn quick. I'm pretty happy with the speed of it. You can see me touching it. When you touch it, it does something. You're not waiting an hour for it. You're waiting maybe like a couple of seconds on the startup screen. That's what I don't like. But the actual touch configuration of it works pretty quick. I'm happy with that. The sound quality sounds incredible. Okay. You guys loaded this deck with sound quality features. It definitely shows. It's impeccable. The Exelon decks have a gold-plated pre-out. It's a 5-volt pre-out. I'm sure the DAC in here is awesome. So definitely the sound quality of this head unit by far is probably the nicest sounding head unit that I've seen or heard, sorry, to this day. So the head unit's really awesome, and I love about it. Navigation, I'm okay with the maps that comes with it. It's 2018 maps. There hasn't been an issue where I've stumbled across where I could somewhere it didn't know. No one likes to pay for maps, so make those free. I guess that's more of a wish than what I like. But you know what? The Garmin maps are fine. Of course, I'm sure Google's not going to license their mapping. So that's okay. Garmin is actually an awesome GPS company. So the mapping system, the GPS mapping system on this is wicked. I don't know a better one except Google Maps that is better than the Garmin system, but just as good. Love it. Okay. I love the dash cam. Okay. The dash cam pairing with this unit and this, how you can actually control it works great. The support settings where you have departure and forward collision warnings, pretty cool. So the integration between Kenwood products, I really like. What else do I like about this thing? The read of USB, rapid charge, high-speed charging, love it. Most decks is slow charge, but of course they've released high-speed charging now. I like it. It's not high speed, but it's faster charging. So they've upped the milliamps, I believe, of charging on this, or the voltage of it. So that's really good. Bluetooth is Bluetooth. Sounds great. Sounds like any other Bluetooth, so no complaints there. And yeah, the glare glare factor, I haven't had an issue where I had to, you know, kind of be like, oh my god, like what am I trying to see here? I've had no glare issues. You know, you can see a little bit of glare there, but when the screen is on, like, it's clear as, you know, clear as day. So there's no issues there. I'm really looking forward to hooking up a Maestro up to this and see what else, what gauges pop up, and you know, that really determines on, of course, what the car will allow to show on screen. But I'm really excited to see that on here, and of course the K40, the readout of the K40 radar detector. So those will probably be coming one day. Again, you know, if you're watching my channel right now, hopefully you're still on it and you get to see what comes up if I start adding even more features to this thing. I've loaded it up for video wise the best I could right now. I don't see any other any more inputs that I can really play with. Audio wise, I mean, it's jammed back there for like wiring, and like I've plugged everything into this thing, so it's fully loaded the best I can. And of course there's more you can do, like I said, with K40 and with the Maestro piece. So luckily these Subarus have lots of room in the back of the dash to shovel a ton of wires back there, so that's really good.